if you're an awkward human being, you better be fucking talented as shit. Like, because you don't have that fucking tool in your toolbox, or you better learn how to, like, I don't know, be socialer.
Right. Yeah.
Socialer? That's a word. Yeah. So, like, these are the questions you got to, like, ask yourself and be self-aware and understand how your personality is. And then after you start showing galleries, and you're like, fuck the galleries.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, everyone. Welcome back to Waiting to Dry, the only podcast left in the world not talking about Gabby Petito.
No idea who that is.
The Instagram van life girl that got killed.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know who that is. I got blocked. I'll tell you what.
Oh, shit.
I can't comment on TikTok right now. I'm like,
oh, wow.
because I did a dumb joke that people didn't find funny, I guess.
You have a problem with that on TikTok?
Yeah.
I think it's all just because of it's all like 14-year-olds on there.
Yeah,
don't get sarcasm yet.
I don't know what it is. It's definitely a big censor. Like, they censor a lot of shit on that app. It's my least favorite thing about that app.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. But
well, it was the only place to go yesterday.
Oh, yeah, that's right. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. There's a cute video of a dog on TikTok burying a stuffed animal, and it looks kind of dark.
Yeah.
It looks like it's like killing the stuffed animal.
Yeah.
And then I just wrote, like, this dog doesn't have a van life vlog, does it?
Yeah. That's pretty good.
I know. I felt like, okay, like, I get it. It's kind of too soon, but who cares? Like, it's not that. I mean, it's obviously a joke.
Right.
But
you got, like, flagged by a bunch of people, probably.
Yeah. I guess. I just started commenting, and they're like, your comments are disabled for temporarily. I'm like, all right.
Damn.
People don't enjoy dark humor anymore. But yeah. Sorry, I cut you off. You were still doing your intro.
Oh, I guess I was. I'm Sergio Lopez.
And this is Waiting to Dry. But yeah, life's been good.
Good.
What's the lady's name? Gabby Petito?
Yeah.
Petito. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty tired of have you seen the new thing everyone's talking about, that like fucking dumb video where they're like where it's like a girl visiting her boyfriend?
No.
You will. Next week you'll be.
Is it about her or is it somebody
like
else?
a 2-second clip, and the world, like the TikTok world, has gone nuts about it. It's just a girl surprising her boyfriend, and he's sitting next to a girl, and he's not like the most excited human being to see her.
Okay.
So now there's people are building theories about the fact that he's cheating on her with the girl to the left of her, and there's like this mystery phone that gets handed off somehow, and everyone's a fucking CSI detective and shit, and it's like, let the two young people be. God damn.
Oh, this is like a whole different thing, not related to them?
No. It's just like because I think TikTok was the reason why the Gabby thing became big.
Right, yeah.
And now they're on to this like couple and trying to figure out how to like prove that he's cheating on her.
Oh, God.
Like, all right. Like, the Gabby thing or whatever seemed like a serious situation.
Yeah.
This seems like a version of like paparazzi.
Right, yeah.
But for like the normal human being who's like, I'm just trying to live. Like,
yeah.
I don't need millions of people coming at me with their theories.
Wow.
So that's a terrifying thing, because it's like, how does that become more, you know what I mean? Like, hopefully this doesn't become like a trend where people are like posting random videos and everyone's like, now I need to prove the worst possible outcome of these two couples or relationship. I mean,
yeah. So these people weren't even like famous at all? Like not
Not
even?
at all.
Oh my God.
Not at all. Not
That
even,
is
like,
terrifying.
Not even like influencing.
Yeah. Yeah.
None of that shit. Just like this one video caught wave. And then you might have even like seen videos that are making fun of it and not got why. Because there's a lot of people posting videos with the same song,
Yeah.
walking into a building, and then like their dog will be like next to like another dog in there.
Yeah.
And that kind of shit.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it's yeah, this is the world we live in, I guess, where
I wish I was that into TikTok. I would know about these things.
well, you will. If you're into Instagram, it's a week late. So you'll get there.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
I don't think that stuff would even make it to my Instagram. All of it's just art stuff.
Oh, well, we'll see. Next time we meet, I'm like, oh, I saw all that shit.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, I don't know. This is the world we live in.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been good.
Yeah.
So what? Okay, so yeah, last time we were here, we were Scott. Yes, is that no? That's not
No, we did one after Scott. Yeah.
minisode.
Yeah, we did.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was right after I did Sonoma, Plein Air.
Yeah,
Yeah. Not a lot's happened since.
nice.
Been just been painting a lot with Vanessa. We went down to what do you call it, San Luis Obispo for a little anniversary celebration. So been together 2 years now at this point.
Nice. Congrats.
Thanks. Yeah, that was cool. We ended up going to all of our favorite spots, and usually that means a bunch of restaurants we like.
For sure.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then, yeah, that's cool. Besides that, Vanessa and I are going to be working on this thing that's like a fundraiser for this thing that they want to do in Petaluma. There's this, they want to build like a boat launch / rental place on the river there.
Okay.
So that you can like basically paddle down or do whatever from like downtown Petaluma out toward like the bay. It sounds pretty cool because
Is it privately done?
yeah, it's privately done.
Okay.
But they need like or they want to do like a fundraiser, so we're gonna be doing some paintings for that. So
For sure.
so yeah, it's cool. Vanessa's particularly excited about it because it's like a legit art thing. It's like one of the first things she's done as far as that goes. So
What do you
she's
mean?
pretty stoked about it. Like actually doing art. It's not like, sold to like a friend or something like that.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like actually doing something where like there's all like committee and stuff behind it and all that. So getting yourself into like the art door, like actually like doing, I guess you call it a professional gig.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Like, whenever anyone asks me, like, oh, how do you show in a gallery or some shit like that, right?
Yeah.
Like, I never know how to answer that because it's like such a, like, it's such like a, it's like someone asking, like, how do I make friends or something?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, I don't know, like, it's like slow and relationship building. And it's like, like I've been like, because I never went to art school, right? So just young, confident Josh was like, I'm going to show my work,
Right.
And so I would just go into like, I don't know, like back then there was like a ton of like boutique gallery spaces in the city.
Yeah.
Like, and that was like a thing. And it was just like go into them and meet the people and, do the shows.
Sure.
So it's like this weird thing of like, I don't even know how to like start that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it was such a different world. The social media wasn't even like MySpace was the thing at the time, like it's like, I don't know. I was thinking about this the other day too. It was like MySpace. It was MySpace then Facebook, right? And Facebook was like this weird like pullback of like of like almost don't network, just know your friends.
Right. Yeah.
And I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, I wonder how, because I remember MySpace and I remember getting like little show things and like networking through MySpace. And I was like, I wonder how many like how like slow, how much like Facebook kind of like slowed down people's career a bit. Because like those early stages of an art career can be like really fast moving. You know what I mean, you can like jump really far, really fast.
Yeah.
As far as like networking from like 0 to like, you know,
Sure.
mid
Yeah.
range or something. And then like the crawl upward seems like the grind, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
So I wonder, I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, I wonder how many people like from Facebook, because I feel like even just like the little bit of networking, like I met like the owner of Lunar Rand Gallery through MySpace, through like some weird like show that some artist was curating, and I randomly had to go. I like hung out with him for the day because we were young, and I was like, yeah, I can hang out all day today while you collect everyone's art or whatever. But it was like one of those things of like, and then I met like the owners of that gallery. I met a couple artists that I'm still friends with today, and it's like it's just such a weird like concept to be like, damn, I mean, now we have Instagram, obviously, but there's like a small window where Facebook was kind of king. And then they had the like pages, I guess, which,
Yeah.
but whatever. I don't know where I'm going with that, but it was a thought I had of like, I wonder how many people missed a bit of like, or slowed down their career. And yeah, I don't know. I just enjoy kind of that thought process of like, you know, trajectories of life based on like opportunities and missed opportunities, and like thinking about those kind of things.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, it's true though about like it's relationship building, because it is about in some regard like just like making that, or like shooting your shot, like they say.
Yeah.
Because this came about because I was at Sonoma Plein Air and they saw a painting that I did of Petaluma, and they asked me to do it. And then I was telling Vanessa about it, and she was like, "Oh, I really want to be a part of that project. Right. Do you think it'd be cool if I email them?" I was like, "Sure, why not? I mean, worst they'll say is like no."
Yeah.
So, and then they said yeah. So,
yeah. I mean, yeah. I think there's definitely that like I don't know, it's not necessarily a young mentality, but like an early in your career mentality of like go get, and you know what I mean, and then you can like there's sometimes I'll like look back at things I did and I'll like cringe at it.
Yeah.
Oof, I was definitely not ready for that. But you have that mentality, and that's why you get opportunities that you wouldn't otherwise. But that whole just I like that whole figuring out of how to like find spaces that you can show your work and be excited about is definitely something I'm happy I don't have to like. I mean, I still have to think about it, but I think about it in a totally different light than I did even like 2 years ago. You know what I mean? Even like
right.
It's always adapting based on where you are in your career. But for sure, when you're young, you're like, get everything up everywhere that will let me show my shit. But that just helps with like, I think the other thing too, at least for me when I was young, and I think a lot of people get this through art school, but I didn't go to art school, but I think it's a similar thing where you have all these people who are young and like semi-talented, right, and passionate about their craft, and like obviously like probably like I don't know, a large percent of them seem to just fizzle out, and I don't know where the fuck they end up, you know. But like the ones that stick with it, it's always like they're doing cool shit with their thing, you know what I mean? And I don't know, like I'm in a weird, or I'm in a state now where I'm like so interested in what everyone's gonna do in like the next 5 years, because I feel like everyone that I'm like friends with that I think like have huge potential. I'm like in like 5 years from now, I'm gonna be really interested to see like the cool shit you're really pushing.
Yeah.
Especially if they can hold on to that like that energy, you know,
Right.
that,
Yeah.
like, to push forward.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I mean, even with like my graffiti buddies,
Oh, really?
it's like interesting to see those guys because it's like they're doing such cool shit, and I'm like, fuck yes, like
Like in graffiti?
not in graffiti, just in life, like
Oh, okay.
in a creative.
Oh, all right.
You know what I mean? And you're like, fuck yeah, like you got, but I mean, graffiti artists take risks, you
Right.
know, so that's
Yeah.
That's
That's kind
why-
of built into it.
yeah, so that's why they can do cool shit.
Yeah.
They take the
That's a
risk no
good
one
point.
takes. But yeah.
But yeah, I guess I don't know if you feel like you're still in that phase, but I'm sure like when you first started doing murals, it was all about just like getting up where you could.
Kind of. There was a intro phase of like, well, MJ was the one that wanted to do the murals. I was like, yeah, I'm fine. Oh, she was like, I want to do them,
Oh, okay.
and I was like, all right, like do them.
Yeah.
Go get it. And she was, I mean, MJ, when she decides to do something, she'll like bulldoze her way through it.
Yeah. Okay.
But then, yeah, then we did like 1 and 2, and it was like, it was like, oh, that was fun. And then we did a couple more, and we were like, okay, this is actually interesting. And I mean, now I mean, yeah, I'm still trying to do. To me, it's just trying to figure out how to do a fucking good mural. That's like, at the end of the day, that's my biggest challenge in murals, and that's the most interesting part of murals is like, how the fuck do I do a good mural? And I still feel pretty lost in that challenge, but
Right.
it's super fun, and that's what keeps me excited.
Right. Okay.
More than like getting a wall. We have skill sets that I mean, no diss to muralists, but a lot of muralists don't have the like skill set that we contain. So we have that advantage.
Like as far as technical skill, or
Yeah, there's
Okay.
obviously some really technical muralists out there, and I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about like, you know,
like the average person.
the average muralist. You know, we just spent so much time like building up these like paint techniques.
Right.
I mean, just the fact that we use paint is crazy. Like most people, they're like, you don't use spray paint? I'm like, no. And they're like, that is mind blowing.
Do you ever use it like for parts of things?
I have, but the more and more I get into muraling, the less and less I want to use it.
Oh,
because
okay.
It fades. I mean,
Oh,
it
okay.
fades, especially if you're using, you know, like a red or yellow, like any kind of
really?
like, I don't know, color packed with chroma or whatever the fuck it is. It will be in a year. It will be like extremely faded.
Wow. Wow. I didn't know that. In a year. Damn.
Yeah, like some colors, not all colors. Blacks work well, whites work well, but like the really colorful things, which people love colorful murals. So it's
Sure.
like, so just to think of like how badly like all the spray paint colorful murals, especially if they're getting hit on a wall,
Yeah.
like deteriorate, and then like make that 5 years, and then all of a sudden you look at like the original picture, and then you're like, whew, that is a different fucking thing.
Damn.
But yeah,
Huh. I didn't even realize that.
yeah, and you can embrace that too and be like, everything's temporary.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, but yeah, I don't have any in like I don't want to use spray paint.
You were talking about the technical skills, and that reminded me of this mural that Vanessa and I were laughing at in Morro Bay. It was like these. It was like on the side of like a Mexican restaurant or something like that, and it showed like this like Mexican couple, and one of them was a woman, and I think she was holding, I don't know, like a tomato or something like that. And you can see that hand was like kind of whatever. But you could tell like a woman's hand, and then the other hand, her right hand, was just like this burly man's hand on it. And it was just like, wait, we couldn't figure out, like, is that even her hand at first? Like, no,
Right.
that's her arm. Yeah, that goes to her body. And it's just, that made me laugh, because it's just like, yeah, we should tell Josh and MJ to come redo this one for them.
Yeah, I mean, and they're like, that's probably even better. There are some like there's a mural. I don't know where the fuck I gotta remember this shit. It's like 24th and something in the Mission.
Uh-huh.
God, it's like right off of the street, like Valencia, the street. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not going towards the Mission Street, but going away from it.
Okay.
I forget which street that is. But that street and like 25th or 24th, there's like a liquor store right there.
Okay.
Man, it is. I don't know. It's like, I don't like, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't even know how this person got permission, and I don't know why the business doesn't just paint it over it.
Oh, man.
But it's, and it is so bad. It's like, I don't know, just, I know the person didn't mean for it to be funny,
Yeah.
but it
Which
just
makes it
seems
better.
like a joke. Like they were just like, oh, this is hilarious. Let me do this. And so, I mean,
What is it? Like,
It's like-
what's the
it's a-
subject?
it's like the side profile of like a lady's face, but like, God, I don't know, like her face, her head is like this long. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
okay.
it's like the side it's like very long.
Okay.
And then the face is like tiny. You know what I mean? Like it's like they smushed the face into like a little corner of and then the eye is like side profile. The eye is like in the middle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like somewhere where like the temple is supposed to be, but of a really long head.
So it's like a sunfish or something.
yeah, it's the human version of that. And then there's something else. I can't remember. There's like one more element that like makes it. It's like they made it like a unicorn lady or some shit like that. There's like one other piece that's like, oh my God, like you really made it worse.
Yeah.
By adding. But yeah. So that and that's like, you know, I mean, so like when you see like a bad painted hand, I'm like, it could get worse. It could get a lot worse than that. But yeah, I mean, this is art, right? There's always going to be a spectrum of talent.
Right. Yeah.
But
That's hilarious. Like, that sounds like it was done on purpose, but you can tell it wasn't. Like, you can.
yeah, oh yeah. I know it looks like, I don't know, like, God, like the artist from like, what was that? Do you remember that like website where they had like a dragon and
what
was it All Star or something?
yeah, Homestar Runner.
Homestar Runner.
Yeah.
It looked like the artist from Homestar Runner like did it, but did it like everyone like I don't know. It's something. It's bad though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I need to take a picture of that thing. But yeah, I mean, the most muralists are pretty talented. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. It's just,
Yeah, I mean, there are good murals in that area. So.
yeah, for sure. And I mean, most muralists that we like interact with are like super talented.
Right, yeah.
Right. Do you know what I mean? It's just, what I mean is like from like being a muralist for like a year, we get to like kind of like cut the line,
Yeah.
I should say, in like what the opportunities we get,
Okay.
you know, because we're not like learning as we go, you know.
Right,
There's-
because they could see that you can like draw and paint already.
Yeah. Yeah. And even like, I mean, we could also learn really fast. So that's
Yeah.
another thing. So like
Mm-hmm.
every mural we do, we're just trying to learn
Yeah.
how to get better and better. So like by mural like 5, we're like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
we're like, we're doing some really cool shit.
Right. Yeah.
Oh.
Because there's so much you don't have to learn on the job already, because you already have that skill that
Right.
you can hyper focus on the stuff you already or
Yeah.
that you don't know yet.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I don't even remember how we got onto that topic. Oh, because we were talking about mural.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, if you felt like you're still kind of in that mode of like trying to just get
Walls.
Yeah.
Well, we're trying to get like big budget jobs.
Right. Yeah.
That's what we're trying to do. It's a weird. There's a job in Texas, for instance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where the budget's like, it's $150,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the size of, that Foster Freeze by our house, that wall, that looks like a pretty long, biggish wall, but not like huge.
Right.
And that's the wall that's painted. And it's like you could also get a wall like that for like, $15,000 and be stoked.
Yeah.
And then it's like a 10x of that. And you're like,
wow.
You're like, fuck, that is.
But that means that like the competition for it is high, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the hope, and most likely a really talented artist is going to get it, and so that's, but that's what you want. You want them to have like the best possible, but that's what you're competing for. You're like, you're putting your hat into the ring is like, I think I'm good enough to get this wall.
For sure.
And then that comes down to like a lot of times it's like portfolio shit. Right. So like the longer you've done it, the deeper your portfolio is, the more likely you'll get get like those bigger budget jobs, and then taste is a big part of it and things like that. So, so yeah, but yeah, but that's the on the business end of things.
Yeah.
The main thing I keep freaking out about is trying to figure out how to like make mural work I'm actually into.
Right. Well, yeah, that's the fun part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, even all that stuff's all. But I mean, just in general, that whole like idea of like, how do you get work? I mean, how do you like show in galleries? How do you get mural work? Is just a complicated question.
Yeah. It's like even more complicated than like, how do I get a job? They're both like really general questions, but one has like a more definite path to it.
Yeah. I mean, anyone can go into a gallery and introduce themselves and ask, how do you guys choose your artist? Like, I did that a ton when I was younger. Like, how do you guys pick your artist? And then usually that leads to like, why are you an artist conversation? Sure.
Yeah.
And then and then a lot of times they'll give you emails of whoever curates shit. And that's a potential maybe, yada, yada. You also have social media now. So it's like, especially like Instagram and shit, like every fucking gallery's on an Instagram. Right. You could easily be like, hey guys, I'm an artist. And then, of some sort, and then see if they seem to like your work or not, and grab attention that way. I don't know. It's just, you got to be creative. That's what the fuck we are, right? We're supposed to be creative. So motherfuckers out here trying to like get all the. I mean, we've talked about this before, but there is something about like the person who asks what kind of pencil it is that makes me think they're not gonna fucking make it.
Yeah.
Because you gotta be a fucking detective. Like all these people out here posting TikTok videos of a fucking phone that might have been handed off by a girl. Like there's like, that's what artists need. Like you need to be able to be like, oh, I saw this artist use this pencil. I'm at the art store. That's the pencil. Yada yada. Like filled in the blank. Do you know what I mean? And there's like, God, that shit drives me nuts. It's like, I can't answer the question, but you shouldn't want me to. You should want to be able to fucking just be able to give yourself every fucking answer you want without having to like rely on everyone handing it to you. Because that's what makes you self-sufficient. You know what I mean? It's like, go to an art store and look around. Like, and when you see shit, you're like, okay. And then you buy it, try it out, and you're like, that shit wasn't for me, or it was. Or you realize a pencil's a fucking pencil. But like, the whole like get into gallery shit's like just, I don't know. It all depends on your personality too. Like some people are super fucking social beings. They have a huge advantage. If you see someone's art that you probably think isn't as good as the others in a gallery, most likely they're a super nice person, super likable person,
Yeah.
super cool person, and you'll probably meet them. And if you're like offended that their art isn't good enough to be in the gallery, you'll probably change your opinion because you're like, they're super cool. And that's the advantage of being a super social, super friendly, super cool human being.
Right.
If you're an awkward human being, you better be fucking talented as shit. Like, because you don't have that fucking tool in your toolbox, or you better learn how to like, I don't know, be socialer.
Right. Yeah.
Socialer? That's a word. Yeah. So like, but yeah, you know, like these are the questions you gotta like ask yourself and be self-aware and
Right.
understand how your personality is and who. But then yeah, and then after you start showing galleries, and you're like, fuck the galleries.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. My new the new like thing I really want to focus on with galleries is just I need them to be fucking like super excited about what my work is.
Okay.
I think that's what I need to build on. So like after, well, I don't, but
How do you feel like you need to go about doing that?
I think you just know by interacting with them, right? Like,
Okay.
like for instance, like I worked with Edana from Wonderland for years.
Sure.
I know she loves my work. I know like when people walk in, she'll talk about my work. Like she's super excited about it.
Yeah.
Right? Like I don't need to like guess. There's like, and that's because I've built a relationship with her and I know how she feels about it. And I know it's just not like her inflating my ego and then inflating every artist's ego. I just know that's how she feels about my work, right? And I just need, I need to figure out all the like the galleries that, because the fact of the matter is like, let's say if I show in a gallery that I'm excited to be a part of because I think it's a big deal gallery, right? If someone walks in, they're not going to be like, come here and look at this Josh Lawyer piece.
Yeah.
They're going to probably figure out who's the most they're excited about showing, right? And they're going to be like, oh, look at this piece we got. Like,
Right. That makes sense. Yeah.
And the fucking buyers are going to like immediately, or the collectors are going to immediately be like, oh, like this is someone important, right? This is someone I need to value.
Right.
Let me see how much it's worth. Let me see if I can afford this person's work, right? Obviously, if they go into the gallery and a collector is drawn to my piece, they're not going to talk shit about my piece, right? They're going to be like, oh yeah, that's Josh Lawyer. Like he's this amazing artist. Yet. But like, I need the gallery to like do that before they, you know what I mean? I need them to be like, big up me and, and yada, yada, because that's what they're like, it's like the idea of like, I don't want them to be like a salesman for my work. If they fucking are excited about it, then they'll just like talk about it and people get excited about it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And so I think that's the new focus is like, I don't want to like have a guy that's just trying to fill wall space and be like, you're good enough. I mean, you're a talented artist. You're perfect. You know, like, because I've walked into galleries a ton of times and then be like, did you see this piece that we got? You know, like, because I know, I'll know the gallery and they'll be like excited. Like, oh, have you seen that piece we got from this artist?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, and to me, it's like, yeah, like that's what I need the galleries to do for me. And if I don't get that feeling, I just need to stop working with them. You know, because then at that point, that means that someone's coming in, getting drawn to my work, and then them having to like carry on that process.
Right.
Which is like, it's fine. It's like it's a function of a gallery, but it's just a little bit less than what I think is going to make me successful.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah. And so that's my new mentality. I'm about to drop hella galleries.
Okay. That was my next question. But do you feel like you need to drop out of a bunch?
New York is the gallery I really want to work with, Stone Sparrow. I get that feeling from them, and I'm really excited about working with them, and they're excited about working with me. And they put like effort, you know what I mean? Like the other day she was like, oh yeah, I submitted some of your paintings to the American Art Collector magazine.
Oh, good. Yeah.
And she's like, they're going to feature 4 pieces. And I was like, awesome.
That's awesome.
And it's like, I didn't ask her. Right?
Yeah.
She just was like, oh, I did it. it worked out. And I'm like, cool. Like, that's super awesome that you did that. You know what I mean? Without having to like, cause she's excited about my work. That's why she did it. Right. Like that's what she's doing. And
right.
And that makes me stoked on it. And that's the attention that you need to be successful. Like you need to like
for sure.
surround yourself with those people that believe in your shit, that like actually believe in it. You know what I mean? And then that's how you're gonna, in my opinion, that's the new, like, that's the next thing I need to focus on to get like farther along in my, in my career.
Right.
But yeah. That's like, so me and MJ, we watched the show The Voice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I talked a lot of shit before I watched it. It's one of those things. I feel like there's shows like that where you're like your significant other, whoever will watch, and then you'll like turn this shit off. And,
Yeah.
and then you're like whatever, and you're like, I'm like in the kitchen cooking or something, and she's playing it. I'm like, that person was all right. And all of a sudden I'm like,
but no.
And now it's like, oh, The Voice, the season. I think we're like, I've watched like 3 seasons with her, maybe. Yeah, I think 3 seasons. This is the third season I'm watching now with her. But it's one of those things that's weird because like, there'll be this contestant, right? And they'll come in and they'll be the fucking best. Like they're better than all the judges.
Yeah.
They're like better than all of the fucking contestants. And you know this from like the very beginning. And then almost every single time it's like this older black lady who like, she's like, I sang backup for Beyonce and fucking yada yada, this and that. And you're like, fuck. And you know that the reason she's saying backup is because they're fucking beast at the job. Like they're probably better at singing than fucking Beyonce.
Yeah.
And so, and then the question is like, why the fuck aren't they successful? Like, why aren't they Beyonce then?
Right. Yeah.
You know, like, and my assumption is they went the safe route, right? So like, for instance, with muraling, right, there's jobs that pay. And then there's just jobs that you want to fucking do because they're the art you want to create.
Right.
Because you know that if you create your art in a way that in the long term, right, you end up getting the big budgets doing the work you love. Right.
Right.
Rather than taking the paycheck now to do work that you're not super stoked on. You got to figure out how to do work you like and hope that it pays off. And so where these fucking like,
that's a good point.
Where like these background singers, they take on these jobs of like, oh, I can tour with Beyonce and get paid and pay all my fucking bills and yada yada yada. Deal, I'll do that shit, and I won't work on my career. I'll work on this other bullshit, not bullshit, but I'll work on this other person's career, so they can be fucking huge and yada 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 and all this and that.
Yeah,
and so like, you're like, oh, like. They went a safe route. They went the pay my bills route. They went the fucking don't work on my own art route, right? And then they end up this old person on the fucking Voice who's better than every single fucking person on there, including the judges and shit. And they're having to be like, I want to be an artist now. And you're like, fuck, you should, like, it's such, like, even if you win this thing, like, it's going to be a hard route, you know what I mean? Because you wasted so much of your time that now trying to start it is such an uphill battle. You know? It's like, but yeah, so it's one of those things where you really see the effect of not trying to stay true to like your art and believing in that shit and believing that like, that's the fucking vision and that's what's actually good. And, you know, like, and I'm going to pursue it no matter the consequences because, you know, I have to. And like, I think a lot of people will write off like, these like singers because maybe they're like bigger ladies or some shit like that. But like, but I find that to be bullshit because like, I could like, you could easily name like fucking Adele, right? Fucking Alabama Shakes lady, right? Fucking what's the Lizzo? Right?
Sure, yeah.
Lizzo, right? Like there are plenty of not Beyonce artists right, who are fucking
Right. Yeah.
very successful. I mean, Adele's like the fucking most successful like singer since Michael Jackson, like as far as like album sales, like literally. And so it's like this concept of like, don't write yourself off for like these things. Like as long as you believe and you can pursue and yeah, like you could literally, you just have to have the balls to say no to a paycheck to concentrate on your own shit. Right. And then obviously there's always going to be luck involved.
Right. Sure.
I mean, even Lady fucking Gaga isn't like, you know, like she's not like commercially attractive. Do you know what I mean? She's like a nerdy looking human being in general. Like,
yeah.
You know, but she found her niche and she fucking did it.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I guess she had like a kind of a unconventional path to like stardom too.
This is art. You better be unconventional, so you're not going to fucking make it. Like, no one's trying to find the same exact shit that just existed yesterday. You know what I mean?
Right.
No one's like perfect, exact copy of Beyonce.
Yeah.
Nice.
Exactly.
That's exactly what we're looking for. You know, like, just doesn't exist. I remember when, the fuck were they named? Dixie Chicks.
Oh yeah.
When the Dixie Chicks crumbled because they were like, fuck George Bush, and everyone's
right.
like,
Right.
how dare you? That I remember hearing people being like, oh, like there's a place, there's an opening for a Dixie Chicks like band to be filled.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I remember thinking like, that's such a stupid like idea of like, oh, there's a perfect spot for like a trio country. And I don't know country at all.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't talk, but like, I feel like there hasn't been a replacement for them. You know what I mean? Like no one's filled that Dixie Chicks hole. Cause like, no one's like, oh, I like them because they're a 3-part harmony group who play the fiddle or some shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
no one listens to a band like this isn't how people think. They just go like, oh, I like this fucking music that this group is creating.
Yeah.
Fuck with it. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But yeah, that's how the music industry or whatever thinks. I think they're just like
Right.
one, you know, like the whole like one female rapper like mentality of things.
Yeah.
Like there can only be one at a time.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
But and then now there's like I feel like there's a crazy amount. It's like,
That's true.
it's probably like getting close to 50-50 at this point.
Probably. Because, yeah, I remember when, like, it was a big deal that Cardi B kind of, like, took over, what's her name?
Nicki Minaj.
Nicki Minaj's, like, spot, quote unquote. And now it's just like, well, there's, like, 5 of you there.
Yeah. Yeah. And, yeah. I just think I think Nicki Minaj holds that mentality.
Right.
I think she came from like an era where that was literally the mentality.
Right, yeah.
So I remember there was, what's her name? What was
She was almost kind of like a battle rapper at first, right? Sort of.
So. I know she was like a stripper that would rap, right? That's like how she originally started.
I guess so. I don't remember.
I remember, yeah, there was like a video. Oh, maybe she wasn't a stripper. Maybe she was just kind of presenting herself.
I thought that was more like Cardi B's thing.
Oh, she for sure was. But I remember there's like there was like a famous stripper that was like interviewing, and there's like, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know there was that who was that lady that came out of the All the Way Up lady? All the way up.
There's a lady. Wow.
Well,
I can't remember.
It was Fat Joe, and she went to prison for not snitching. Remember that lady? She was also in like the Lean Back song back in the day. Like, and then Fat Joe made.
It wasn't Remy Ma. Was
Remy
it?
Ma.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
When she came out of prison, she was like, she did like a Female Rappers Unite song.
Oh, right.
And like every girl was in it except for Nicki Minaj.
Oh.
Because it was like Nicki Minaj was like, there's only one.
Yeah.
And it's one of the, I don't know. That's that mentality. I mean, I get it. I get this is where like competition meets like, there's like negative, it's like negative competition.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, I want to be the best, but I don't have to like hold everyone down to win.
Right.
It's like crab in the bucket versus
Yeah.
rising tide.
Yeah, exactly.
Thing, you know. But yeah. Yeah, I don't know what we're talking about now. I think we got way far off from where the fuck we
I don't know where we were trying to go.
to the moon. But yeah, I don't know. Oh, we were talking about the voice, I think, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It was just like it's just one of those things you see and you just like it's a good like view of like someone who chose like safety and security
Sure.
over like the tougher route to take, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I get it because there is risk involved there.
Yeah.
Like, and like, I don't know.
Yeah, but the question,
Not
I guess,
everybody's going to be a superstar, I guess.
yeah. But the question is like, what are you as the artist trying to pursue? Like,
Right.
Because there's definitely people who are like, I want to be a graphic designer. Like, I'm fine being semi-creative, and then also like in a corporate world, you know what I mean, and just pumping out these things that I find like fun to do. Illustrators, same kind of thing. And then there's like, so I guess it's, and this is what I was saying earlier with like the whole like know yourself thing. It was like you should be aware of like what you want,
Right.
and then that kind of dictates what the path you can take. You know, if you don't want, if you don't want to kind of have that structure and that security, then, and you're aware like I have to create and I have to create what I want to create, or else it fucking drives me crazy.
Yeah.
Then I think then that opens you up to like, okay, well then I have to go down this treacherous pathway, or else I'm going to regret it. You know, when I'm this older black lady on The Voice and I know I'm the fucking shit, and I have to fucking compete with like this fucking 14-year-old girl who's nowhere near as good as me.
Right.
But she's 14 and people are impressed by the fact that she's 14. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's like, but yeah, that's like so it's like that like being aware so you don't become that trope or whatever of like the person that, where like the vice versa, right? Of like, oh, I pursued it. I worked my ass off. I pursued it. I stayed true to my art and I failed. That to me seems like something I can live with much more than the opposite, right? I can live with like failing, but really staying true to my art and pursuing it hard versus like selling, you know, going the like easier, comfortable route and being like, fuck, I wish I did it. You know, there's also, it reminds me of like Bobby Lee on, I think, Bad Friends podcast. He was talking about like running into like a comedian he was coming up with when they were young.
Okay.
But then that comedian like quit, got a good job, quit, moved to like Idaho or some shit.
Okay.
Right? And then now like that comedy is kind of in this big boom and bustle.
Yeah.
He like came back and he's like, I know all these guys. And he's like, Bobby Lee ran into him at like an open mic, right? And the guy's like, oh yeah, I'm trying to do the thing. I'm really trying to like get back into it. And Bobby Lee, he was on the podcast. He's like, but you can't. Like, it was all those years of doing this thing when no one else was, that now it's paying off.
Yeah.
That you can't just jump back into. You can't just, even if you're talented, you just can't jump into it, you know, because there's something about that. There's all that like relationship building with everyone. There's all that, like, the honing your skill over time.
Right.
It's all that, like, all that shit that like, you know, you can see as the person, like if, let's say if like 5 or 10 years from now, right? Like the art world is like bustling and like all the people that were like in this grind are doing great, right?
Yeah.
And someone that was like, I'm going to go and be a graphic designer and just kind of like keep my nose down and do that, even though I hate it. And then they try to jump back in. It's like, oh, like I know people that like became bakers or whatever, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, and if they try to jump back in, I'd be like, oh, hey, what's up? Like, how you been? But if they were like, I'm trying to do the art thing now, I'd be like, good luck. Like, I don't know what the fuck. Like, I don't know how you, like, it's like you have such a gap of like,
right. Yeah.
of just, even though we're friends, everyone that stayed in it, we're friends, you know, for years and consistent, and those friendships built into bigger and deeper friendships, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's like, I can't like stop my life to try to like help you up here. You know what I mean? I just keep moving forward in my pursuit of like my goals.
Yeah.
So, but I think that's like, I don't know, all of these things that have to do with like just, I don't know, trying to figure out how to succeed at what you want to do and being aware of who you are and letting that dictate the path you take.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that kind of reminded me a little bit of like, not to the same extent, but I remember some people who were doing like video game design or whatever sort of thing, and just getting burnt out on that and wanting to switch to like doing fine art, doing like plein air painting or whatever, and just being like, just look at their work and being like, oh yeah, just because you're good at the video game design, you still have like a big learning curve as far as like traditional painting goes. It's not just like a thing like, oh, I've just been doing art forever, so I'll just jump right into to doing fine art. It's like, no, you're gonna still have to like spend a lot of time 100%. Getting good at this thing.
Yeah. And then even then it's like, if you did it and you were friends with people, right? Like that were doing the fine art thing. It's like you're playing catch up almost forever.
Right. Yeah.
Because when you get to the point where they're at a different point. Now.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's like this, and obviously everyone's got their own fucking journey and their own pathway. As long as you're okay with that. The problem is that you have to be able to like eat that, right? That like feeling of seeing the people you came up with and their successes in front of you.
Right.
And you have to be able as a human being to like eat that and be like, you know, like, okay, I'm going to move slower at this point than they are because, you know, I took off fucking 10 years or 5 years or whatever the fuck it was, and be okay with that thing, you know what I mean? Of that feeling, because you're going to have, if you're a human, you're most likely going to have feelings of envy, right?
For sure.
All these things. And so, you're gonna have to be able to like manage that on top of like pursuing your goals.
Yeah.
Which, you know, might be fine, but if your intention was to get back into it because you saw the successes of others, right? Because you saw your friends doing cool shit and yada yada. Yeah. Then most likely you're gonna have a hard time because they're gonna continue to succeed and you're gonna have to grind it out because you didn't see all those years they did what you're doing now. You just see the success. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. That would remind me sometimes of like people would see me like painting or whatever, or like I'd go to San Francisco and see everybody like at shows and they'd be like, oh yeah, I love what you're painting or whatever. And I just be like, well, that's cool. But like, I'm doing that. And that's why I'm like, having to bum a beer off of you. It's like, that's the trade-off. I'm not like making much yet.
Right.
So, I mean, it was kind of just like a little bit of like grass is greener. Like they're like complaining to me about how much they hate their video game jobs. And like, I'm talking about how much I can't afford.
Right.
So it's always just like a trade-off there. It's like, when you see that, or when you're actually in that situation where you think you're on that path that you want to, when the end goal is to get to the point where you see that other person's doing what you think you want, it's like, oh, okay, now I get like the struggle that you've been going through for the last 10 years or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I get it, but at the same time, Yeah, I don't know. We have different situations, so it's hard. It's hard because, like, because there's value in like having to like really, I don't know how to say this, like of like having no, because you at the end of the day you will never I guess be homeless, let's say.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So like there's value in like having that potential bottom to hit, which will like, because like I always worked and did art at the same time. Do you know what I mean? Like I always, so I never had to bum a beer off someone. I just had to figure out how to squeeze in 2 jobs pretty much at the same time.
Sure.
Right. And so that's the difference is like if you're going to pursue this thing, you have to figure out what you're willing to sacrifice. So,
right.
And so because you have this technical bottom, you don't necessarily, or this level of bottom where you at the least you'll have like your basic needs met. There was never like a necessity to do what, like have the double job thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like, if I have a job, cool, I have like extra thingies or whatever, but it's not a necessity where I didn't necessarily have that ability. So there's that, that need to provide for myself.
Yeah.
Which forced me to figure out how to, find a job or have a job and then find time to pursue art at the same time. Which is like, there's no fucking easy feat. And I think that's why a lot of people end up, quitting in general, is because
I agree.
They don't have, your bills have to be paid, especially if you have a kid, right? If you get a kid involved, all of a sudden now there's like a double priority of like, I not only do I have to fucking feed myself and have a roof over my head, but now I have this fucking kid also that I have to like make sure over myself that they're fed. And so then I think those like responsibilities can like make or break you as an artist a lot of times.
For sure. Like I don't know how anybody single parent would do it.
I don't know. A lot of time, a single parent. That would be, you better be successful already.
Right. Yeah.
But so, and I think that's, those are the weird things where like things can be, where like there's pros and cons of both, right? So like, and so, so the struggles were different for us, but I was never like about to, I've definitely had, I was broke enough where people would like, if I had $10, I was buying beer that 10. Yeah. Buying a case of beer. If someone else had $10 that day, they were buying.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that kind of deal. But either way, it's a grind. Just trying to like figure out where you fit in. Yeah. And how to keep this dream afloat. In whatever capacity you're dreaming.
Yeah, that's so true. Because it does get hard to like, I don't know if maybe it's been a while for you where you're just like second guessed like this whole idea.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or if you ever really did that, I don't even know.
I don't know. This is one of those things where like, like the whole like, I just don't have it. And I was telling someone this recently. I was like, I grew up really, really poor.
Sure.
And I think that weirdly has helped me in my art. Like, what's the thing where people doubt their art's good?
Oh, like imposter syndrome?
Imposter syndrome. I've never really had it, right?
Yeah.
And I think there's something about like being poor and just kind of like, there's something about like struggling that doesn't let you focus on dumb ideas like that. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, cause I think it's a dumb idea.
That's true.
And I think there's something about like struggling that's like, I'm just trying to get like the next thing, the next yada yada. Like I'm just trying to like keep moving forward. That like has been a thing in my brain. So then in the art section, it's like, I don't have the time to have these dumb ideas. I'm just going to keep like trying to get better and trying to create cool shit that I think is cool at this moment in time. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have time to like have these ideas because in my opinion, these ideas are not worth any. They're ideas that serve no purpose in my mind.
Right. Yeah.
Other than stagnation, other than slowing you down. And so like when I hear, I'm like, I didn't even know that was a fucking
right.
thing. And and the idea of like, oh, I should have never been an artist. It's like, that's never been an idea. I think that like, it's a hard ass fucking thing to make it into. And like, people should be very aware of that. Now that I'm like in it, I'm like, know that this is not an easy career. But I never had that like, man, I should quit this.
Yeah.
I just think more and more like, how do I make money so I can keep doing this thing?
Right.
That's
Yeah.
all my mindset.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. Do you know about that? I think it's called like hierarchy of needs.
Yes. I can't remember it, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly all like the different like tiers of it, but like
Yeah. What's the first one?
I want to say it's like food and like water and
I thought there was someone that said there was like one even before that.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Or maybe that's like a new like concept of like, oh, there's one even before something's
Oh,
hierarchy. There's like a guy's name and
yeah, it's
Schrodinger's or something like that.
I think it's Maslow's.
Maslow. That's
Yeah.
that sounds right.
But yeah, so like I guess the further down like that you are in terms of like
Right.
your needs being met, the less you're focused on things like that. So like once you have a lot of needs met,
Right.
the theory is that okay, then you start worrying about like I don't know, self-actualization, for example.
Right. Yeah. I remember not fully agreeing with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but like not knowing enough to like all this shit's like has subtleties to it. You know what I mean? So like if I was like to push back on something, I'm sure there's someone who's like proficient on his list that would be like, oh yeah, that actually is this thing. And
Right, yeah.
I didn't know that.
So the bottom on this triangle I'm looking at, physiological needs. So air, water, food, shelter, sleep, clothing, reproduction. Safety needs, personal security, employment, resources, health, property. Third one is love and belonging, friendship, intimacy, family, sense of connection. Esteem is the next one. And then self-actualization is the top one. So I don't know if like imposter syndrome would fit in like I don't know, somewhere in between esteem and self-actualization maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
So if you're like down at the bottom where you're worrying about safety needs or whatever, you're probably not worried too much about all that. So in that way, that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, because then like I assume that like the people who are like able to like have this self-actualization,
Yeah.
their pursuit is probably to be a happy human being, right? And then you could probably go to the people who are just at like the safety level and be like, are you guys happy? And they're like, yeah, we're happy human beings.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there's something weird about like, once you get there, then you could finally like pursue happiness. And then there's like the people who are at that level who are like, it's like where they say like, oh, the happiest people on there are from Thailand. You know?
Right. Yeah.
It's like where their poverty rate is huge. And it's just like, yeah, because they're like,
yeah, maybe this whole thing is just like a Western concept.
yeah, maybe. But I don't know. Yeah, it seems like that's where you have too much time to think about shit. Then, like, and then you start like complaining and nitpicking about everything.
Right.
I don't know, but maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? I don't know enough about that whole shit. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, me either.
There's too much like all the like philosophy things they get so like fucking deep and like
Sure.
and like particular about little things, and I'm like, I don't have all the info.
Yeah.
So maybe there's some counter to what I just said. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
You ain't got the answer, Sway.
Correct. But yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, even happiness is like, to me, is like not really the end goal. It's just like a feeling. I mean,
Right.
it's like, yeah, I'll be happy at some point, and I'll be sad at some point, and I'll be
Right. Yeah.
mad at some point, and it's like none of those are my pursuits. But yeah, maybe to minimize suffering. Maybe that's the
Yeah. That's a good pursuit.
but yeah. How the fuck did we get here? Goddamn. We just need someone to like kind of guide us. I mean,
Yeah.
we need someone to be like, you guys were talking about this.
Yeah.
Cool, thank you. They just sit in the corner with notes, and then when we say, what were we talking about? They just hit the bullet point.
Yeah, exactly.
How did we get on Maslow's?
I guess we were just talking about what do you call it? Just like needs being met, like as far as like
that's right.
how it relates to how much you're pursuing your goals, kind of.
And I think this. So here's what it is like I think that's an excuse. Do you know what I mean? I think like the like making sure, like I think it's like the same thing with like the lady who's backup for Beyonce, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's an excuse because there's people that succeed who are the same like who are in a similar situation as you, right? Mm-hmm. Who will succeed at pursuing their goals and being successful, yada yada yada, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like there's an excuse. There's like it's an excuse. It's what it is it's an accepting of comfort as payment over sticking. Like me and MJ literally have arguments about this all the time when it comes to
really?
because she wants to do a job that I don't want to do. Mm-hmm. And the reason I don't want to do it is because it's not going to fit into our body of work, which means we're doing it for a paycheck.
Right.
And we could do something else that will pay us, maybe not as much, but we'll be excited about and we'll build our body of work so that later on we can get paid for our work and not for some shit that maybe went like, that people are like, ooh, you do this. Oh, I want that. I want that shit. And we're like, okay. And then the accepting cash versus for something we don't want to do becomes easier and easier. You know what I mean? And because we get it more and more, you know, we're selling out for comfort pretty much.
Yeah.
We want the comfort more than we want the end result, you know? And so like MJ will argue for that and I will argue, and she's like slowly coming into my mentality of it.
Okay.
And I think that's because we're getting more and more work doing what we want to do, and she's starting to be like, oh, that's what you were talking about this whole time. You know, not like taking on these shitty jobs that we don't want to do because it doesn't fit our work at all, but it'll pay us a check. And so she's starting to realize like, okay, now people are wanting our work more and more, and we're getting better at what we actually want to create on these walls. And now, so like,
exactly.
But it just takes longer, you know, than taking a check. But then the terrifying thing to me is us creating something that's not what we want to do. And then other people seeing that and being like, I want that, because murals are kind of that way. They're kind of contagious.
Okay.
And so like, it's like, oh, I want something like that. And then we're like, okay. And then, you know what I mean? And then more and more of
Gotcha.
that. And you're
Yeah.
like, oh, fuck. Now I'm just not even creating artwork.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm just doing something that other people want.
Right. You're just painting a wall at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Huh.
So, I don't know. But all this comes down to like what you want to do, and then being able to like take the risk, but then you have to take the risk, and then you have to also be able to like manage the situation, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you have to be able to like go like, okay, this is the art I want to create. Okay, how do I create it and be successful?
Mm-hmm.
And then that's like the hard question. Once
Yeah.
once you like take the risk of like, I'm gonna say no to these jobs I don't want to fucking do, but I'm gonna do what I want, which is this direction.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how the fuck do I become successful in that? And I think that's the hard, tricky, long, drawn out question, which comes back to like building relationships, you know, finding work that you're excited to make,
Right.
finding mural work that that they let you do what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, all that kind of shit
Yeah.
that everyone wants the answer to. And you're like, there's no answer to that one. That one's like a long, slow one. It's a slow burn of an answer that you'll look back on and still not have an answer to. Just be like, oh, that all worked out in some weird way.
Yeah.
You know, no. This is life. And then you die. But yeah. Dude, I saw a video of like Tony Bennett.
No.
He's like full on like lost his mind. Like,
Oh, no.
Like he doesn't remember anything.
Yeah. Like dementia,
It's
basically.
like full on dementia where he doesn't remember like parts of his life. And
Wow.
It's like so wild to me, you know, because
Uh-huh.
it's just, I don't know. It's kind of like heartbreaking because you're like, it's like you lived such an amazing life, and to be like, oh, that's okay. Like, that's what I did. Okay, cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn. That sucks.
It's
Yeah.
like just a reminder that we all die and we have no control over this meat bag we're in.
How old is Tony Bennett
I
now?
don't know, 83 and a quarter. He still counts the.
He still treats his birthday's like a toddler.
Yeah.
I'm this man.
Yeah. Oh God. I don't know. There was this. I watched this YouTube video of this philosopher who wrote. He was like a 98-year-old philosopher, and he wrote a book on death
Oh, wow.
and life. And
Is he still alive?
I think he's still alive, or at least he was alive when he made the video. you know?
Yeah, of
But
course.
he wrote the book like I think he wrote the book in his 70s about death.
Oh, okay.
And his take was like, don't worry about death. It doesn't matter. Like, which is kind of how I think about it. Like,
Yeah.
you're gone. Like, who cares? Right?
Okay.
Don't be afraid of death. Like, you're going to be dead. Like, you're not going to, it's like a guy that died 100 years ago, right? Like, he was afraid of death. And now it's like, why were you like, no one cares, I guess. I don't know. But then he was like, at 98, he was like, I think I was wrong about that.
Oh, shit.
I was like, oh, shit. Because it's like, he's like, no. But I don't know. I thought it was super interesting. Because he was, well, I guess his point in that, or his curiosity now is more about why this seems to be a thing rather than doing it or not. It was like why we fear death so much.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know. It seems like a simple answer to me because it seems too abstract to think of the world without you in it.
Yeah.
And we fear what we don't understand.
Yeah. I mean, and then there's also just the simple fact that we're living beings that just our instinct is to want to be alive as long as we can.
I don't get that part though. Because I feel like if our goal is to reproduce, right? Like if that seems to be like life's intention is to keep pushing life forward, and you're keep making sure your genes carry on.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It seems to be like the gist of like the basic ideas of life is just reproducing genes to make sure there's more genes or whatever. Shout out to Levi's. Then like after you reproduce, shouldn't you just be like, all right, that was great. It's like the spiders and how they like the guy's just like, we fucked, now kill me.
Yeah,
and eat my body.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I assume like it's probably based on like us having too big of a brain to like to actually comprehend the abstract. You know what I mean? Or like abstract thoughts in a way that lets us fear these things. Like animals don't seem to fear death. At least
they fear pain, probably, or avoid pain.
I mean, they try to survive, right?
Right.
They see a wolf, they run. They're not like, nah. But there's always like the video of like the sheep or whatever, the thing that's running, the goat or whatever, the mountain goat that's running from a wolf, and then just like is tired and is just like, all right, kill me. It just sits there as the wolf like eats it. Have you ever seen those videos?
No, I haven't.
But it's like, first of all, it's brutal as shit, but there's like this like, I don't know, there's like this weird like come to terms with it pretty easily.
Wow. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I don't know. But maybe animals do fear death. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, I guess on some level they do.
Yeah, or maybe they fear it, or maybe it's based on like how smart an animal is. Maybe the smarter you are, the more you fear. We should ask dolphins.
Yeah, there you go.
They seem like they're having a good time. They seem like the perfect amount of brain. You know what I mean?
Dolphins.
Yeah. Like the perfect amount.
Like they don't self-destruct like humans can.
Yeah, they just seem to have the most fun of any animal.
Probably.
Like they're just having a blast. I know they get eaten and shit and
right.
Yeah, but like for the most part, it's like dogs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like as long as you're not like a dog that's like in one of those like horrible like dog farms or whatever.
Right.
Like if you're an American dog, you're in like a hipster home.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like you have the greatest life of all. Like
Yeah.
your life is better than any other species in the world.
Yeah.
You know, like
that's true.
you're way better than humans. Like you're just sitting there just eating fucking great food and like sleeping where, you know, like on people's beds and
Yeah.
fucking doing whatever. I'm like,
you have to do nothing. You don't even have to like you don't have to even like you're not even a work dog. You're just
you're just there to be like loved.
Yeah.
I mean, and then like they give you modern medicine. You didn't invent that shit. They just give it to you.
Yeah.
And then you live to like your old ass age, and they're like, oh, right before you die, they're like, here's some steak.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like we don't get that shit. We get to be in like a hospital bed eating like, you know, pudding or some shit.
Yeah.
They're not going to give us our favorite meal of all time on our deathbed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I don't know. Yeah, I wish I don't know. Reincarnation question, Sergio. What do you choose?
Dog's a pretty good one.
Yeah. Well, as long as you're in the right spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a dolphin. I don't know. The problem is you'll have to avoid like tuna nets and shit.
And sharks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like boat propellers.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess the problem with like a dolphin is like the actual water is so easily the
Killer whale would be nice, but you're an asshole.
yeah.
So where all the assholes get reincarnated into killer whales.
Yeah.
And just like, I want to go fuck some fucking seals up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Problem with being a water animal is like the actual water can be like polluted a lot easier than anything else, I think.
Well, you're breathing car fumes, Sergio.
Yeah, but I'm not. a puddle of oil probably isn't gonna like.
Yeah, but what about our yearly fires?
That's true.
There's no way those are good for us.
Yeah.
There's no way that we're not going to see some long-term effect years from now when we're like, oh yes, never smoked, but lung cancer, cool.
That's probably true.
I'm almost positive that the numbers will go up in this area.
Yeah.
But we're really keeping it light.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you have anything else you wanted to talk about?
I don't know if you wanted to talk, if you had any thoughts about that whole, that gallery that gave the artist the money to.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about this. Plague mentioned it too.
Yeah, I heard it. Like I saw it just being shared everywhere.
So I'm not like fully. I know that they gave him money to create a body of work, right?
Yeah.
Then he turned in like white canvases or something.
2 blank canvases. Yeah.
Then he said his title like "Take the Money and Run" or some shit.
Yeah. So the idea, what the museum wanted.
Do you know the guy's name? I want to look up his art.
I have. I think I have it pulled up here. Where'd it go? Jens Honning. Well, the thing about this guy, I don't know if you've seen any of his other art, but it's basically stuff to do with money already. Like all of his work is like a statement on like capitalism and shit
Just
like that.
pictures of people looking at canvases.
Yeah.
Fucking losers. God damn. It's like, wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, my God.
Well, what he normally does is take money and paste it to canvases. And this one, he was trying to like make a statement like, oh, I'm just going to take your money. And that's like a statement on basically, I don't know, like a commentary on the nature of exchanging money or some shit like that. So he was just like, well, I delivered a piece of artwork to you guys, and this is how I expressed that art was by like taking your money. And
he just like woke up the day it was due. He was like, oh shit, I should.
Yeah.
God. I don't know. I mean,
well, the idea actually was that the museum commissioned him to basically reproduce a piece of art that he had made before, which was this.
Oh,
yeah.
Huh.
Which I don't know, like, why as a museum are you asking him to reproduce some old piece of art anyway?
Fucking museums.
Which, like, I almost am like to the museum, this is your fault. This you brought this upon yourself.
Yeah, I could see the only thing I find maybe I don't know. The only thing I have issues with is just the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I think like what the artist did, like I think is shitty art. First of all.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of those things that catches attention and then people talk about it. And the average person will talk about it in a way that's just demeaning to art in general.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And I'm like, cool, more like banana duct tape bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that like takes like that fucking dominates the conversation in art.
Right. Exactly.
And then it just gets exhausting. You're like, there's good fucking art out there, people.
Yeah,
you guys pay attention to that shit and not like these fucking guys who think they're so fucking good with their like shenanigans.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they're just fucking these guys. They're just pranksters. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're just a fucking YouTube prankster guy.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we did a prank, and everyone's like, oh. It's like I don't know. Leave the pranks to the shitty fucking YouTuber people.
Right.
Go create some art. Like, I don't know. There's something I don't know. It's also like I think the people that get excited about it, they're like, oh, that's fucking genius. I think almost always it's about like duping rich people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's like this hatred of rich people that like the majority of human beings have, because we're all fucking poor. That when we see a rich people get gone over, it's like everyone's like, yes, and they pretend, and like I don't know if that emotion makes them feel like adds a positive like emotion towards this artwork that makes them like feel that this work is genius or something. But it's like I don't know. It's like I don't know. Maybe like I guess it's the equivalent of like buying something from Amazon and then returning it and then being like, you don't have to return it, we'll just give you your money back.
Yeah.
Like that's the equivalent as this. It's like fuck you, Zuck. Like I ripped you off. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. It's the exact same thing. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's like I don't know. If that's all it takes to make good artwork, I'm gonna just start fucking robbing rich people.
Yeah.
And being like, genius, like, look out, banks, here I come.
Right.
I'm fucking putting a gun to a rich person's face and telling them give me their wallet. It's my art installation. It's, that's fucking dumb.
That's probably legit in some modern art circles.
There's no, I don't know. I hate this. I hate these people in this art world. They're all rich fucks talking shit about rich fucks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, go fuck off. Like, there's good art to be made. And you guys are so, like, I don't know, self-deprecating that you guys just love this stupid shit. And then you got this fucking people standing in front of a blank canvas, taking it in. You don't need to. Close your eyes. Imagine a blank canvas. That's his thing. You fucking idiots. Like, God. I don't know.
I'm curious, do they have their hands on their chin while they're looking at it?
I'm pretty sure they did. And there's one where there's like a guy and a lady, and it looks like the guy's trying to explain it.
Yeah. That's the one I'm looking at.
Oh, God. God. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. All that kind of like all this seems like a distraction from good work that's being made. The art world just seems to not have the ability to like concentrate on good art,
right?
Because it takes like I don't know why. But this is life. This is what happens when like the audience you're trying to appeal to are a bunch of rich people.
Right. You know? Yeah. It's like these artists just like found that like they cracked the code for these people.
Yeah. Just make fun of them. They have the same. These people have the same. The people that are like pretending this is genius have the same mentality that like teenage kids have, which is like if a teenage kid makes fun of you and you just make them feel like shit for it, now they want to be your friend. Do you know what I mean? Like,
what do you mean? Teenage
kids are assholes, right? But the second you don't give a shit, the second you're like, get out of here, fucking dumbass, they're all of a sudden they're like, I respect you. You know what I mean? Like, there's like this, like, it was like the, I don't know, it's like the Hannibal Buress joke where his cousin's like, I seen you on the YouTubes or whatever. And he's just like, shut up and keep jacking off. He's like, hey. It's like this, like, but I don't know. I found that like teenage kids, the more you ignore, the more you like mean girl them, the more they like, oh, wow. Like, and this mentality is just like fucking seems prevalent in like the fucking world today in general. It's like the more like, shitty you are to like rich folks, the more they're like, that person's a genius. You know, I don't know. So if you want to make
like,
it in a circle,
like nagging them.
Yeah, exactly. It's like this, like, but it seems to like that concept of like seems to be so well like accepted by rich people. It's just probably because they get so much like yes sir, no sir shit.
Right.
Like, the people who are like artists who are just like fuck you, they're like, wow, they're a genius.
Yeah, exactly.
Or if you're like trying to like, if you're creating art and there's rich people and you're like, would you like to buy my art? They're like, ew, no.
Right.
You want to sell your art to me? Ew. Or you're like, don't touch my fucking art, you rich fuck.
Yeah.
I need it in my life.
Right. Yeah. How much can I give you for it?
Yeah, but this is why I don't know. The art world is fucked because it's based on that, on your price point being higher than like the average person can afford for a painting.
Yeah.
Which then means that you need to like accommodate rich folks, which means that to be successful you have to be shitty to them. I guess I don't fucking
Right.
but yeah, I don't know. This is I don't know. This is why I think I don't know. Most art forms seem to be consumed by every human being except for, Instagram, I suppose, is the closest thing we have
Right.
to
Yeah.
people consuming art for no fee or
Right. Yeah.
but yeah, it's not the best because that's like the first thing in a long time where that's possible, but
That's true.
it doesn't. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, well, we talked about that, I guess. What was your take on it? Other than that's the museum's fault.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just like I didn't know disrespect could be an art form.
You didn't see them shred the Banksy piece or the fucking.
That's true. Yeah.
It's been if you think about like all the headlines around art sales, it's almost always disrespectful
Yeah.
to the rich people. It's like I don't know. There's something. Even rich people seem to hate rich people, I guess.
Yeah. That's true.
But
Yeah, I was just more about like thinking like, oh, okay, this is yet another one of those things where it's like this gets propped up as like the big thing that's happening in art right now rather than I don't know what else they could make a story out of that's like gonna be headline grabbing.
Yeah. I think this is why, like, I don't know. This is where artists need to like control their narrative when it comes to their community.
Yeah.
Because you have things like this guy no one's ever fucking heard about.
Yeah.
Who, like, I looked up his work. It looks like he's done like 5 pieces.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, for some reason, he's wiggled his way into like a group of people who have large budgets, and somehow that validates whatever he's doing.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, it's when you see like, I think this was the big thing with like podcasts, with art, with stand-up comedians, was like they took over like the narrative of their art form, right? And then they were able to manage it, and then all of a sudden all these fucking comedians are making a living, like a good living off of their art form because they managed the narrative of their art form. And so things that would like be considered maybe good comedy 10 years ago, now you look at it and you're like, that's some real shitty comedy because everyone's learned what good is.
Right. Yeah.
Learned what like fucking corny, hacky fucking comedy is. And you go like, oh yeah, that is shitty. And you can see it from a mile away, and you know what I mean? And all those things. So, so like artists don't have that right now for some reason.
Yeah.
Fucking museums and fucking auction houses and everything like that, they dictate the narrative around the art world. And
right.
I don't know what the fucking solution is to figuring out how to kind of crack that nut of like how to make art that's like, I think that is good and interesting and like actually in the art form and not just like some shenanigan, people putting paint on a thing and creating something amazing, or fucking
people faking Subway videos of
or like people using like, carving into marble or whatever the fuck they're doing to create actual good art. It's like, what if music all of a sudden tomorrow was just like, oh, this song is nothing. There's no sound to it. We're going to play the new fucking Billie Eilish and it's just silence for 2 minutes. Everyone be like, turn that shit, like turn to the next station. Like, no one wants to hear that dumb shit. But all of a sudden, with the art world, we have to all pretend. I mean, we don't have to pretend, but like the world, that culture pretends that shit's genius or whatever the fuck. It's like, because the artists don't have a fucking say in the thing.
Right.
You know, we don't get to be like, that's dumb. Stop paying attention to that stupid shit. Like, there's good artists. Look at them. Like,
Yeah.
they're amazing.
Right. Yeah. That would be the equivalent of like those like really weird, like abstract, like, I guess they're songs, but you know what I'm talking about. Like they're just like,
sure.
like sound technicians making weird noise. Like if that was like propped up as the pop hit,
Right.
which is like, that doesn't happen in any other form of art than visual art.
No one's going to a Michelin restaurant and they're going like, here, eat this nothing plate
Yeah.
and pay me money for it. And
Right.
like, wow, he served me nothing. Wow. That was delicious. That
Right.
was so good.
Yeah.
And then like
No one's
no
pretending
fucking
that's
art
good,
form
yeah.
is like this except for ours.
Yeah.
Because the artists don't control, and the majority of human beings that consume the art don't control it either. Or
Right.
like the population doesn't control it. It's like this small amount of people who tell it, I don't know, rich people what genius is pretty much the dynamic. This group of people are the tastemakers. They tell the people with the money what's good and what's not
Right.
good. And those people who are rich, don't know shit, eat that shit up because they don't want to look dumb. They want to look like they know what the fuck they're talking about. You know, it's fucking. It's exhausting. Well, that was a tongue twister. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how the fuck artists end up controlling the narrative. I don't know, or even just I don't know. Back to NFTs. This is my like hope and dream that this thing weirdly has, because what it does is it builds in money. So it's like Instagram with money.
Right.
So then now monetary gains can be had as a artwork is consumed by masses for a cheap amount and can succeed. That's the big reason why I'm so excited about it.
Yeah.
Because, and for all you fucking people who are artists who are like bashing NFTs, like, I don't know. It's such a, I don't know. There's this like hipster mentality that I think goes into shit that you're like, you don't even understand how like, this is like to me, this is like the potential answer to that problem. Like a legitimate functioning answer to this issue that we have, which is we can't control our own narrative because there is this silliness that has all the money and they get to dictate it. And this is a potential change in that mentality that can, well, if it works out, will create crazy amounts of artists who are able to live off their own shit in a very functioning way.
Are people bashing it or just ignoring
There's a
it?
hipster mentality, I think, where it's like, oh, not another NFT. Oh,
really?
and you're like, okay.
I guess I haven't seen the backlash on it.
Yeah. I've gotten some comments about some shit. I'm like, relax there. It's not that, I don't know. It's like, to me, it's like the equivalent of like when Instagram came out and there was artists that were established who were like, I'm not doing that shit. You know what I mean? And then like 10 years later, you see them on Instagram and they have like 2,000 followers.
Yeah.
And they're like, why don't I have more followers? And it's like, back to like, you got to be in the shit. Everyone that has followers is because they grew with the platform, you know what I mean? And you were above it to like, and now you want to like magically understand how this platform works and grow with it. And I mean, it's not even growing, I feel like, at this point. But do you know what I mean? It's like that mentality of like hesitation because, I don't know, it takes effort or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But then there's going to be other people that are going to succeed. And then if you don't get in or you don't understand it or whatever, not saying it will, but you can't get mad if you join in 10 years from now or 5 years from now or whatever and be like, why aren't I successful? I'm a talented artist when the artist that got in and worked it and understood it and learned it and yada, yada, all of a sudden now are doing really well, and you want to be that fucking stand-up comedian that Bobby Lee runs into and is like,
Yeah.
I'm joining now. I'm a part of it.
Right.
Like, you know, it's too late. Like you can do it, but it's gonna be a grind for you.
Yeah.
Your effort's gonna take 10 times the amount probably because you were too cool for school.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This is don't let your ego fuck you up. I guess is the point of that statement. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Hopefully, that's my mind. That's what I'm hoping for that space. The ability to like have artists have their own art market, which I think I've said plenty of times, which is if you start thinking about it as like insane, it's so good for everyone's career. I'm like thinking about like if I end up doing NFTs for my art is like creating NFTs for each original painting I have in the past and just giving it to each collector with like its smart contract attached to it.
Okay.
So that potentially they could resell the painting and I could track it and they could make money off of it if all the other future NFTs go well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you're using almost the NFT as an incentive to like collect your physical art?
No, it's just to add it's the insert value to old pieces potentially. So if I attach them to like future pieces, right? If that becomes a part of like one of the ways I use NFTs is like, when I sell a painting, it comes with this NFT, which has this contract. So if you resell it, you have to sell it through the NFT like world, and then that is attached to this physical object.
Okay.
But because of that, I can track how the value of a painting can grow or shrink. Well, if I then go back to all my old pieces and attach an NFT to each of them, what that does is it immediately values each piece, because once a piece sells and is in a home, it might be valuable to that human being, right? But if that person needs to, if they want to, like, say, if I want to sell a piece of mine so I can get another piece, like if I have a small piece of like an artist that's bigger now, but then I want to sell that so that I can get like a big piece from an artist I love that's cheaper. Well, there's no potential way of doing that in a functioning way in this world, right? I have to figure out how to sell this piece, and then I have to figure out how to buy that piece separately.
Right.
If it's all kind of like in this thing, then now I can sell a piece and then purchase a physical piece. And then now I own this piece because I bought this artist when I knew they were not well known. And now I can clearly see that their work is more valuable. So I can sell that piece and it retains its value because of that. So now an old piece, we've talked about this before, for some reason when a piece comes down from a wall and you have it, now all of a sudden you're like, fuck, is this piece worth nothing? You know what I mean? Like how much, like there's this mentality. I don't necessarily subscribe to this mentality. I just don't understand why that seems to be the case. Why, like, once you're done showing a piece, you're like, all right, where does it go now? How does it hold value?
Right. Okay.
And so, and then you start re-showing it, and there's like ideas of like, do I lower the value? Like, do I lower it because it's an older piece? Or like things that are like potentially like things that are like older can gain value more than newer things, or should maybe potentially, right? Like if you have a fucking original Pokemon card, it's worth more than the ones they print today, right? It's not saying they're better. It's just there's something about being early that seems to add value, right?
Yeah.
So this has the potential to do that, to make it be like this old piece is worth more actually than the new pieces because they're older and they were early on in my career when and those pieces are less common now, you know? I don't know. So, but all those possibilities enter the situation.
Okay.
They were never there before. Now they're here, which is nuts because that was never the case before. So every artist has this possibility of having these concepts enter into their space and be like, yeah, my old work wasn't as good, but potentially is worth more. or not. I don't know. If I love an old artist's work and I don't like their new shit, right? Maybe I can go and hunt one down and be like, cool, I can buy this one now. And then that adds value, so bodies of work can now retain value because that was the body of work that like made you or some shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rather than having to focus on what you did now as an artist. I don't know. All these concepts that don't really live in our art world can now become part of our art world.
Yeah.
Which is super exciting. I know people are probably tired of me talking about NFTs, except for some people are probably excited.
Yeah. There's some
shout
people.
out to David.
Yeah.
Chafetz. In case you guys don't know.
I need a button. This is a David Chafetz shout out.
But yeah, I don't know. All these questions can enter into all these things that are like, which is like, super exciting because then now people can see value in art that isn't fucking blank canvases and duct tape banana bullshit. You know what I mean? That they can literally go and see value of everyone's art.
Yeah.
And if you attach every gallery show to it, now you can see that. And now that can sell on that market. And
yeah, that's cool. There's never been like a whole thing, like an actual database for anything.
And this shit is forever. Like the blockchain tracks, as long as you've had it, it tracks it, right? So I, as a human being, can look at when it first sold, when it second sold, to every single thing like if I own a Bitcoin, I could see the lifespan of that thing. Right?
Okay.
So this is how that works, so that you can track each piece forever and see, oh, look, this fucking body of work I created at this point and if I read my smart contract, I get like 5% every time it resells. Now all of a sudden I'm like making money off of like this body of work I created 10 years ago because that's the body of work that has the most value, because that's what the most people were excited about. Even though I'm off doing my own thing, I don't have to like try to copy that old work. I just can make money off of it. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's exciting. The more and more I learn about this shit, the more I'm like, fuck, this application is awesome. Like this thing. I know I'm like, it's been the topic of conversation for the last few podcasts, but if like artists start like opening their mind up to like the potential, not like what the culture is right now,
right,
but the application you can, like how you can apply it to your work. All of a sudden you start like, as long as you're in this creative mindset and not like what pencil are you using mindset, you can really come up with some like really cool fucking ideas about how to use this technology so that your work gains and retains value, which is one of the hardest things for artists to be able to explain, is why my art is valuable. How do I define value? Right. And this thing builds it into its model, into what you do. So like,
yeah, that's a good point.
So yeah,
it makes sense. Like what you're saying, like, you become your own coin basically.
Yeah. You're your own art market, and everyone is their own art market. And there's not some fucking auction house that controls that. It is literally everyone. It is like the equivalent to having a social media page. So some people will have a way more robust art market, and some people won't. And you know what I mean? And it's not determined by an algorithm, because there's no fucking algorithm attached to this. So it is just understanding how to build this thing. You know what I mean? Which is still like something I don't fully understand, but like just having that potential is exciting, right? So yeah, we'll see it. We'll see where it goes. I mean, I think Twitter's building, they're like connecting the blockchain to, so like you can buy and sell NFTs. And there is a way, because a lot of times people are using NFTs right now as profile pictures. So there's a way to not allow anyone that doesn't own the NFT to use that picture.
Oh, interesting.
So, but that's like the first application to building it into like a platform. So say if you have a huge platform now, right? Now you might be able to like buy and sell NFTs on that platform really easily. So like an Instagram or something like that, you can be like, I'm dropping this NFT. Everyone somehow buy it on this platform if you want it.
Yeah.
You know, as long as you have the wallet.
Yeah.
And whatever. I mean, I hope Instagram isn't like we need a new social media, is my opinion. It's better than this fucking Facebook owned one.
Right.
That I can't stand. So,
I think yesterday was a wake up call for a lot of people.
yeah. It was a nice break. But yeah, but I don't know. Super interesting. But for anyone who's like creative, I feel like everyone should be at least a little bit trying to think about how they would use this tool, like to like further their like. It's what it is it's like self-sustainability in a really cool way if you can figure it out, which just didn't exist. It's literally like you will never, if you can succeed in this space, you will never need a gallery ever. Which means like, I mean, I think there's going to be a value to people who can curate good artwork.
Yeah. But
physical space, why the fuck would you need it? And if you want it, then just rent out a space and know that like your market is good enough to pay for that space. And you can like have an event, you know what I mean? Where you can like, and yada, yada, yada. But you don't need, you have a collector base pretty much. Like you are setting up your own forever collector base. You don't need fucking email addresses or anything anymore. You just have this, I mean, they might be useful, but like this world that already has the collector base into it, and they're looking for your work and they're wanting it and they're waiting for it,
right? In
a way that's like, yeah, I'll show the work in this physical space, but like you don't need to, you know, you don't need to be there to buy it. And I mean, I don't know how much the virtual gallery world will ever catch on, but like you could see some application where like you could just like scan the room somehow quickly. And if you're not at the physical show, you could see it still on walls and whatever. I don't know. All that's like a little outside my, like, I'm not too much into that like virtual world kind of thing, but
sure.
But yeah, I just think it's a
put on your Oculus and walk around.
Exactly. But yeah, I could see how like NFTs could be the potential death to like at least a large majority of galleries because artists will have too much control over their own careers.
Yeah.
But yeah,
which probably means those museums and stuff will fight it as best they can.
Yeah. Well, they can keep all their blank canvases and fucking paint splatters. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, these are the people that have been dictating how art is, like, what good value, right? The value of art has been dictated by these motherfuckers who are getting blank canvases.
Right.
That's the fact of the matter. Like, maybe they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. You know what I mean? Maybe if they're getting duped out of fucking large amounts of money because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and this fucking guy over here is giving them blank canvas, maybe that's not the people you should be listening to. I don't know. It just seems like the people that have dictated what good art is for so long have been wrong too often. Although there are some cool museums out there.
There are.
But even those museums aren't the ones that are getting like the huge funds.
Exactly.
You know, which is disappointing. But I gotta take a piss.
All right. Well, how long have we been going anyway?
This has been Waiting Drive. If you're still listening, fuck off.